What if I told you that Kompany's Bayern plays just like Luis Enrique's PSG? Same positional rotations, same fullbacks pushing high, and even Kane dropping deep to create play like Dembele. But be careful, Kompany isn't copying, he's adapting. And that's exactly what makes his Bayern so dangerous. His team presses high, builds from the back with midfielders dropping between defenders, and Kane becomes the link between defense and attack. A philosophy very close to Luis Enrique's, but with a German twist, more direct, more vertical, more aggressive. Welcome to the channel, The Coach. Today, we're diving into Vincent Kompany's tactical mind to understand how he's redefining Bayern Munich's style of play. The first thing that stands out with Kompany's Bayern is how their midfielders participate in the build-up. Watch closely. Right from the start of the move, Kimmich drops into the back line, and that's where everything begins. Kimmich steps back to position himself as an additional centre-back, forming a back three in the build-up. And on their side, the fullbacks push up to join the midfield line. That small movement changes everything. It gives the team a numerical advantage in the build-up, and more importantly, forces the opponent's pressing line to drop back. It's almost the same mechanism we see at Luis Enrique's PSG, when Vitinha or Fabian Ruiz drop deep to allow Hakimi and Mendes to push higher. From there, Kimmich has options. He can combine through the middle or look to play long to release one of his wingers in a one-on-one situation. But Kimmich isn't the only one organizing the build-up from the back. He's supported by his teammate Goretzka, with both constantly rotating their position. When Kimmich pushes forward, Goretzka drops deep to support the defense and drag an opposing player out of position. The objective? Move the ball wide, then use rotations and combinations between players to destabilize the opponent. But what truly allows Bayern Munich to build from the back without suffering under pressure is the intelligent movement of striker Harry Kane. Like in this sequence, attacking midfielder Gnabry drifts to the right wing, while full back boy pushes higher to join the attack. Meanwhile, Kimmich starts drifting back inside. That forward movement from Kimmich immediately triggers Pavlovic's drop into the defensive line to provide cover. These rotations confuse the opponent's pressing structure, and it becomes even harder to press when Harry Kane drops very deep behind the opposing forwards, always offering a passing option through the middle. Because of all these rotations in the central area, Pedro doesn't know who to pick up, and Pavlovic can carry the ball forward freely. It's impossible to press, so the opposing block is forced to drop deeper, while the Bavarians calmly switch play from right to left, stretching the entire defensive shape. He can combine through the middle or look to play long to release one of his wingers in a one-on-one situation. Having Harry Kane accompany the ball progression while always staying central draws the opposing midfielder back and frees up space in the middle once again for Kimmich, who positions himself behind James. Bayern, full of confidence, easily circulates the ball from one side to the other. To understand how this works, let's look at a concrete example. Kimmich drops between the two centre-backs while the full-backs push higher to join the midfield line. Chelsea, pressing with 5 players to put pressure on Bayern's defense, finds it impossible to close them down because right behind them, a line of 5 players has formed thanks to Kane dropping deep into the space behind their midfield. On the left wing, Stanisic is pushing forward, positioning himself behind Chelsea's forward. The natural reaction from the Blues attackers is to drop back, allowing Bayern's defense to calmly advance with the ball. Coach Kompany uses Kane's qualities like a number 10 or a false 9, who drops behind the opponent's pressing line to offer passing options and help the team play through pressure. Kane often acts as a pivot, keeping the ball moving and linking play between defense and midfield. That's what makes it so hard to press Bayern. As you can see here, the Blues midfielder tries to step up and press the Bayern defense, but Kane drops into the space behind him, forcing defender Chalobah to follow him very high up the pitch. Because of that, the full backs try to exploit the space left behind by Chalobah's movement. He's forced to drop back, and so is James, who also tracks back to mark Kane, which as a result completely cancels out Chelsea's pressing on Bayern's backline. And this clever system works perfectly, because if the opponent decides to press, Kane immediately drops very deep to offer a passing option, while at the same time pulling the opposing midfielder out of position behind him. That movement opens up huge spaces in midfield and allows Bayern's defense to find Boy completely free through the middle. The Blues press is broken, and this sequence goes all the way to the opposing goalkeeper. The ball progresses down the right wing with Olise, who holds up play just long enough for Kane to arrive at full speed. Once again, we see a sequence of rotation and combination between the two. Kane drives forward on the wing while Olise cuts inside, positioning himself at the edge of the box. Kane then finds the Frenchman with a cutback pass. Olise shoots, forcing the goalkeeper to parry the danger. That's just one example of how Kompany's Bayern managed to beat the press and create big scoring chances. With all these tactical mechanisms, Kompany has multiple solutions to play out from the back, like in this situation where Kimmich and Pavlovic both drop into the defensive line. Palmer is drawn toward Pavlovic and doesn't notice Stanisic making a run behind him. Kane drops into the middle, dragging defenders with him and compacting Chelsea's shape in midfield. Stanisic is completely free and receives a long pass from Upamecano. And the same pattern happens again here. With rotations and movements from Kane and Gnabry dropping deep, the Blues are always a step behind and struggle to press effectively. effectively when Gnabry receives the ball. Bayern switch play to the other side and find Stanisic, who's once again completely free behind Palmer. And once this build-up structure is fully established, you can see Kompany's real plan take shape, attract, fix, then play out cleanly to explode into attack. Like in this sequence, the movements and rotations of Bayern's forwards allow Luis Diaz to find space between the two opposing lines. He then plays the ball to Ken, who had dropped deep, accelerates forward and strikes from outside the box, sending the ball straight into the back of the net. Or in this other play, Kane drops to receive the ball and quickly switches it across to isolate the wingers in one-on-one situations. That's another key element of Kompany's plan, using the winger's pace and individual skill to launch the overlapping full backs in behind, just like at Paris Saint-Germain, creating dangerous attacking chances. And with Bayern's wingers being so good in one-on-one duels, they constantly bring danger inside the box. Bayern's wing play is incredibly well drilled. The full back pushes forward, the midfielder covers, and the winger cuts inside. Like here, where the ball reaches Gnabry, who plays a one-touch pass to Olise on the wing. Olise combines again with Gnabry, who lays it back for the advancing fullback. The opposing block is completely drawn to the flank, leaving the central area wide open. The Frenchman bursts into that space and is played through by Bayern's right back. Chelsea's pressing is completely broken, as the constant positional exchanges keep Bayern's superiority and create confusion in the defense. Bayern build up, attract pressure, force their opponent to retreat, but the moment they lose the ball, everything shifts. In a second, every player switches roles and the pressing triggers like a wave. Here, you'd think Kane is going to press the central defender in the middle, but actually not at all. The roles swap and it's Gnabry who closes down the center back while Kane traps the right back on the wing. This forces the opponent to clear long, and at that moment, Bayern's center backs are ready to win the aerial duel, which they usually do. Upon winning the ball back, it's immediately played into Kimmich in the center, and Bayern launch straight into attack again, instantly threatening the opposition's goal. Kane's positioning during the pressing phase is quite intriguing, because once again, it's a midfielder who steps up to press the center back while Kane drifts wide to cover the flank. And it's the same idea every time. They trap the opponent on the wing, force them to play long. The center back wins his duel and immediately pushes forward through the wide area. Kane's role in the pressing system is very particular. Kompany wants to preserve him to avoid having him make those high intensity pressing runs all game long. That's why he relies on his midfielders to lead the press on the opponent's back line. It's a smart move from the Belgian coach, a great way to manage his players' energy over 90 minutes. Even when Pavlovic is dragged high by the center back and the other defender plays it back to the keeper, Olise instantly charges towards the goalkeeper to block the switch of play and keep the press locked on that side. The goal forced the opponent exactly where Bayern wants to press. The keeper plays it long, the aerial battle is won by the Bayern defender, and from there, they immediately launch forward again. This kind of well-coordinated, targeted pressing has allowed Bayern to win the ball back high up the pitch and score a lot of goals straight after regaining possession. As you can see here too, a high press, quick recovery, and direct play forward. Olise wastes no time whipping the ball into the box, where Kane is perfectly positioned. The defender is late and brings him down foul. Harry Kane has scored plenty of goals this season thanks to these tactical mechanisms implemented by Kompany. Whether it's building from the back or pressing with direct projection forward, Kane is heavily involved, but he's not the only one. Former Liverpool player Luis Diaz also takes advantage of these different strategies to score multiple goals. Olise and Gnabry are also very dangerous, often finding themselves in high threat situations for the opponent, and that's why Bayern Munich's 4 attackers are among the top scorers in the Bundesliga, especially Harry Kane, who has already scored 11 goals in just 6 matches, while the second highest scorer Luis Diaz has only 5. Regarding the defense, all players are involved, even striker Harry Kane, who doesn't hesitate to drop back to support the midfield during ball recovery and help organize the play to push forward again. His contribution on defensive transitions is crucial, and he is willing to make the effort to drop back and support his teammates. What's most surprising about Kompany's Bayern is how they defend centrally. Striker Harry Kane drops back into midfield to block passing lanes and defend like a true number 6. The objective: cover the midfielders when they push wide, then serve as an outlet during ball recovery before launching the wingers with deep through balls. This system is pushed to the max in the last 10 minutes of matches, with Kane genuinely playing as a defensive midfielder, while Kompany brings on fast defender Guerreiro, who can also defend. This allows Bayern to anticipate passes, win the ball high up the pitch, and immediately launch counter attacks using Guerreiro's speed. The fast wingers Olise and Diaz can then push forward instantly, causing huge problems for the opposition. In conclusion, Kompany's Bayern is more than just a team inspired by Luis Enrique's PSG. It's a more direct, aggressive, and vertical version where every tactic is designed for attack. Kompany doesn't copy, it transforms. If Bayern continues to play like this, they could very quickly dominate Europe. If you enjoyed this analysis, make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments which team you want us to break down next. This has been The Coach. See you next time for another analysis.